What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, my sister Dora.
What's up? What's up?
She's not the explorer, and we have my friend Dan.
What's going on, people?
And today, we're going to be talking about Animaniacs. It had a reboot on Hulu. How long ago was it that it popped up?
I don't know, 3 months ago, sometime.
Some months ago. we finally got around to watching it, so we're going to be checking that out and see how a few 90s kids, how do we think about the new Animaniacs? But with that being said, of course, we're going to get into the news first. I've got a few things. Warner Brothers seems like they have come up with a deal with Legendary for the Godzilla vs. Kong movie, so they are going to be allowed to put that out simultaneously on HBO Max and theaters, just like they were planning the rest of their movies. We know that is a big kind of like blockbuster movie generally. Godzilla's Godzilla. People go see it. Apparently, I guess it's estimated, but they're going to be paying like around $225 million for that. So I guess Legendary just wants to make sure they get their money for their hand in the movie, you know.
I would expect so.
Yeah, that's interesting because I feel like these last few Godzilla movies, to me, I know a lot of people do like them. I'm not a fan. And I definitely would not have been running to the movie theater to see Godzilla vs. Kong.
I wouldn't have run, no, especially after the last one. I'll say this, I like 2014 Godzilla. I thought that was good. I thought it was interesting. The sequel to that
one with
Bryan Cranston, but not really.
Yeah. Bryan Cranston also had Elizabeth Olsen and what's his name?
Taylor something or another.
Yeah, Aaron Taylor. No. Yeah, wait.
It's Taylor something. The guy who was Quicksilver.
Yeah. So the people who play brothers in the Avengers Age of Ultron, they played a couple in Godzilla. So it was a little weird. But they were both in the movie. That movie I thought was okay. Actually had some really good scenes in it. I thought it was decent. Like, I don't go out of my way to watch it, but if it's on, I would watch it, you know.
When I found it like just okay. Like if I don't want to watch it again. I've only seen it once, and once was enough for me.
Okay, I got you. I think I've seen it twice. Yeah, I saw it twice.
And so then, are these the same line with the Kong movie that came out recently? Because I feel the same way about those movies too.
Yes.
Like they're okay and all.
Kong Skull Island, which I saw once, which I remember thinking was okay. I don't remember much about that movie.
Everyone's in it, and a lot of people died.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember. I remember some weird lizard creatures, and somebody got stepped on by a giant spider. Like they got stabbed.
Yes.
By a spider leg.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah. That's all I remember. And Kong wasn't the bad guy.
Right.
Yeah.
He never really is, though.
No, he's never.
Well, true.
So, yeah, I remember that. And then the last Godzilla movie, y'all heard my review on it. That was an atrocious movie. Like, horrible. I never want to see that again.
What did you hate most about it?
I don't even remember the movie, okay? I don't remember it at all. I remember... I think the story was just dumb. Which, in general, when I give movie bad reviews, that's generally the problem. The story is probably bad, except for Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was different, but most of the time it's story. Which I understand, like, if people are watching Godzilla movie, because people like that second one, and I'm like, I kind of understand why they like it, I guess, because, you know, it's Godzilla. People aren't exactly going to watch it for the story, I guess. So... it did have a lot of monster fights, so if you're into that type of thing, I guess you like it. So I don't know.
I imagine that's what most people are looking for in a Godzilla movie.
Probably, yeah. I don't have high hopes for this Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong, but yeah, I can understand why the studios would be putting importance on it, at least, you know. So
If you spend money, movie
was that you cut out
for a wide
100%?
release, then you want to get your money back.
You gotta say that again because you cut out.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying, like, movies like this takes, a lot of money to make. So, if Warner Bros. Is not going to give it a wide release, or, it's going to do, double duty on both streaming, then it makes sense for Legendary to want all their money back.
Yeah. But that makes you think, like, is it gonna make that much? 225 million seems like a lot.
I'm going to say no, because they're saying the Wonder Woman is steadily, like, dropping. I think they only made like 3 million this weekend.
Well, that's not counting HBO views. And it's dropping in critical rating. I don't know if people are still going, like, like checking it out online, which I'm guessing the majority of Wonder Woman is from online. Which, since you mentioned Wonder Woman, that was my next bit of news. Wonder Woman 84 currently has flipped from a fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes to a rotten one. It's now critically rated as a rotten movie. It joins other DCEU movies like Man of Steel, which I'm surprised is on there. Man of Steel, I thought was an okay movie. I'm surprised it's rated rotten. Like, I would watch Man of Steel. I'm surprised about that. But it also joins Justice League, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad.
Wow. DC might wanna. That's a lot of movies in one universe.
Now, I do have to give a caveat. I did check this before we started the podcast. It looks like it's gone back up to a 60%, which is what you need to be fresh. So it was certified fresh when I checked before then, but it had dipped below earlier, and I'm like, it's probably going to dip below again. Like, you're right on the border. It's interesting. Yeah. People are asking because this started at 89% and now it's down to 60. So it's 60% positive. I have a theory on why this is happening. I want to hear your thoughts. Why has this movie dropped so much critically?
I think, initially you get those early reviews, and early reviews are generally positive. And I just feel like now that everyone is seeing it and we're all putting our thoughts out there, it's not a good movie. So you get that steady decline. I think, like, if this was like a worldwide release, you know how like that second week, how they want to retain at least 50% of their profits. This is that with the word of mouth of saying, don't waste your time with this movie.
Mm-hmm. I feel like if this was a theater release, you would have had a second weekend with over a 60% drop.
Definitely, because no one likes this movie. And this is what you're seeing. This is basically the equivalent of 3 weeks in, everyone is saying this movie is trash. Mm-hmm. And now no one's going to go see it.
Yeah, I think part of it is the critical reviews. Probably, like, some of them had a delay in coming in because of the way the movie was released. Not everybody saw it all at once. That probably has something to do with it. I have more of a theory, but Dan, did you have any thought on the drop?
On the drop? Well, I mean, it's like you said. Like, initially, when people see it, it's Wonder Woman. We've been waiting for it for a while, so they kind of got their expectations high. They might be a little bit lax on the way that they judge a movie. Like, it was great, this blah blah blah. But more people see it, and some people go to see movies more than once. So, like, they see it the first time, they're like, it was okay. They see it the second time, they're like, you know what, well, maybe this don't make sense, that don't make sense. And the more of that you get, they're like, you know what, maybe it wasn't that great of a movie. Because there's a lot of details in that movie that were not really hashed out. A lot of things didn't make sense. The storyline didn't really make sense. And there was a lot of things that were forced. Sometimes you don't notice that the first time you see a movie. Mm-hmm. And then you see it the second time, you like, you know what, this ain't really that great. I missed this the first time. So I feel like it's a lot of that coming back too. People probably are changing their opinions, like, from the first time they seen it. I don't know how much that gets recorded, but that would be my guess. It's like the opinions are starting to get out there and they're starting to change, and they're like, you know what, this probably ain't that great of a movie.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on it, because some people were saying that, like, the original critics from before when the movie came out were paid by Warner and blah 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 blah. I don't think that's true. I don't think they paid the critics. I think that's highly unlikely. Here's what I think is a likely scenario. Obviously Warner Brothers chooses who gets to see the movie before release, right? They can request that. They probably looked at critics' past review history and chose people who they thought would like the movie. And those were the first people that got a crack at reviewing it. And if, if they're right, they obviously got it 89% of the way right there because those people gave it an overwhelming positive review. And then as the rest of the critics came in and they gave their opinion, then you got what the general consensus was. I want to point out the audience score is dropping too. It's still quite high, but it's down to like 74% now. So it's the audience score isn't that high either.
24% is way too high, but okay.
Yeah. Also, I read some people's reviews. Like somebody gave it 3 stars, but their review was widely negative. So, like, why did you give it 3 stars? I am confused. So I'm not sure you could trust the audience rating.
They like God,
yeah. So, yeah, that's probably what happened. But I mean, this is obvious that this just wasn't a well put together movie. Like it wasn't. It's surprising because the delay should have given you time to, I don't know, brush up on it. I guess they just sat on the movie.
They really thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, they thought it was cool. Apparently, like,
who sat there? What executive sat in the office and was like, "Yeah, this is good."
Patty Jenkins. She loves the movie, so.
But she wrote
There's a bunch of guys that are scared to tell the other guys this movie's not a good movie, and everybody's nervous to say anything about it, so nobody says anything. It gets released, and this is what you get.
This is not a good look for the DCEU, and I know what everybody's going to say, especially when more people start listening to our podcast. Oh, we're paid for by Disney, and we're Marvel lovers, and yada 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 yada. Look, I like DC. I like Batman. I like Superman. I like Wonder Woman. I just want to see them in a good movie. Like, I'm not just because I like it. And, some of the people arguing for DC, no, these movies aren't just extra nuanced that 90% of the world doesn't get. Like, no, they're just not good.
No, they're not good movies. And I wish they were good movies because, like I said, like, I'm not going to say I'm a DC fan. I'm not a comic book person, but I'm a huge Batman fan. And I feel like I would like any movie that's in that genre. I want them to be good, and I'm tired of being disappointed by these movies.
Mm-hmm. I still have some hopes for.
Like, I honestly,
go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm not a DC fan either, but it's like I'm not a comic book person, but all my action figures when I was a kid was Batman. Any form that Batman came in, I had it. I had Batmobiles, I had the Batwing, I had all that Batman, all the tech, I had all the Superman stuff. I rarely had anything from Marvel. Maybe a Spider-Man, but that's about it. DC was like my go-to. And Batman is still my favorite superhero, like, of all time. And I would love to get a good DC movie, because like I said, that's what I'm into. They did a few good Batman movies, but recently everything been falling off. Like, they can't get no superhero right now. I feel like everything's pushed out to try to keep up with Marvel. Possibly, I don't know if that's the reason, but
I don't even know if that's the thing anymore.
These movies is not polished; they not finished good. The story ain't great. Yeah, I don't know, but they falling off big time. So
I think Justice
I got some
League.
DC news though.
Yeah, I think Justice League was them trying to keep up with Marvel. At this point, I don't know what they're doing. I don't think it's an attempt to keep up with Marvel. I don't know what they're doing.
Like the entire time, I think, like, what are you doing? Like Dan said, like, Batman is my favorite superhero. I'm a huge Batman fan, and it's like his movies have been good, but I felt like I want the other movies to be just as good, and they just haven't hit that mark. I mean, to me, the best they ever been was like okay, and that's like Aquaman, and that's like me stretching to give it okay because I didn't like Aquaman. I know a lot of people did. It wasn't an awful movie, but it's just okay. And I just feel like the first Wonder Woman was like, okay, maybe they're going in the right direction. And then they just didn't hit that mark again. So it's just kind of disappointing.
Almost as if that was a fluke. Like they kind of hit the mark on mistake.
Right.
Like nobody knew what they were doing. They just hit that mark on mistake, and they couldn't follow up.
Yeah, I
Which
don't know if they need a more central thing, like how Marvel said it was like Kevin Feige's in charge, and they have all of these things planned out. And I don't know if DC has that set up like that. If they don't, maybe they should, or maybe they need to get a new guy in charge or something.
probably because I don't see no planning in what they got going on. I don't think any of this is planned out. If it's planned out, then that's even a sadder story. Because
Yeah.
like y'all planned this dive, really? Like y'all really planned this? It's horrible. Like it's real talk terrible. Y'all just throwing movies out there just for the sake of being able to release a movie and like keep people watching. But like they not good movies.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, I still have some hopes for the Batman, and that's just because it's Batman.
I don't know.
That's all. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah,
Flash.
speaking of the Batman, I was gonna say, speaking of the Batman, like I wasn't really excited about it after I seen the Wonder Woman movie, but I mean, of course, I'm gonna see it anyway. But there was news that the first movie was supposed to be released in 2022. That's when it's planned to come out. And they said the villains in that is gonna be Catwoman, the Riddler, and Penguin. I believe
There's
they
a
said
lot.
initially in the first movie.
Yeah, but
So
Riddler's the
work
main
on
villain. Like they're focusing on the Riddler, right?
I think
so. But it still sounds like a lot to me. But that wasn't what I was gonna get at. I'm just gonna throw that out there. That's gonna be what the first movie is. But they're also talking about possibly, it's not nailed down yet, but the actor for the Joker, they were talking about Willem Dafoe.
No.
I got mixed emotions about it because I mean, dude's a good actor.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe's a great actor, but I'm not sure. Like by the time that movie releases, how old he's gonna be, and like.
Well, that's
we got too many
like,
Jokers, man. How many people gonna play Joker? Let's leave Joker alone right now.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I would like for you not to touch that. Like, Batman has so many other people that you can hit on. To go immediately back to the Joker, why?
Yeah, like next to Spider-Man, who has more villains than Batman?
They didn't say immediately they're gonna go to the Joker, but they was thinking about having the Joker in. And I feel like as in the Batman series, you have to have the Joker because that's one of like the biggest villains for Batman. You know what I mean? So like I feel like you have to have it eventually, but I'm not sure about a Willem Dafoe playing it. Because like I said, how old is he gonna be by then? And like what kind of a Joker is y'all trying to portray? Is y'all trying to go back to like Jack Nicholson type of Joker or what? Because you can't top. You can't really top.
Look, I feel like you could have kept. He's crazy, but you could have kept Jared Leto with better direction. I mean, I don't think he would have done bad. Just give him better direction than what we had in Suicide Squad.
Are these, what universe is this? Are they in the same universe? Is Batman his own thing?
I don't think so. I think they're just going to do a trilogy of separate Batman movies.
Which is fine. I just don't understand, but do they also have a universe separately than the Batman movies?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm confused because Joker took place in a completely separate universe, and now this is in a completely separate universe. But they still do have their shared universe, so which is bad. So I don't know.
It's like, how do you connect that, man? Seamlessly. How do you seamlessly connect all that?
You can't.
They should just say there's no universe.
Yeah, just give up on the connected universe.
There's no universe.
I would love to have it. I would love to have it, but like at this point, just don't do it. Just do separate movies. Because it's confusing. I think it's a bad look to do this type of thing where you have a shared universe that has a Batman in it, but then you also have a separate Batman movie series coming out that has nothing to do with it. Could you imagine if Marvel did that? Like, we've got our Avengers universe, but hey, here's Iron Man. This has nothing to do with anything else, but we're just Iron Man movies. Disconnected. Like, it's confusing to general audiences, I would say.
It's super confusing. And every time I watch these movies, I'm just like, I don't understand. Are they connected or are they not?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is dumb.
So, but speaking of the DCEU, someone asked Zack Snyder, what would it take for him to do a Marvel movie?
Hopefully nothing.
I will give his answer, but I'm going to say this. I'm not completely against Zack Snyder. I think he can direct good movies. It depends on what movie you give him, and please don't give him an overarching story. So as long as he doesn't have an Avengers storyline and he gets a one movie, I think we're good. Don't let him build the universe. It's horrible. Obviously, he can't do that. But he said he would want to do an Elektra movie, and I'm like, no one wants to see that. Nobody, no.
Elektra?
Elektra.
Like Daredevil? Yeah. I don't want to see that.
No, I don't want to.
She's not interesting.
No, she's
like
not
at all.
She's a dumb superhero.
No, she's like a supporting maybe.
Yeah.
Throw her in her own thing though.
I mean, she was okay in the Daredevil series, but like if they made a spin-off Elektra series, I still wouldn't be interested in watching it.
And this is how you know he shouldn't do it. He chose Elektra.
Yeah.
Of all the superheroes you could have got, he chose Elektra.
Yeah. No.
People like a challenge. He must really be into that. That's definitely what it would be.
I mean, he can use his dark style and whatnot that he likes.
No, I'm tired of his dark style. That's, you know what? He has the same style for everything. Come on.
And here's the thing. That's why he worked for Watchmen, because that fit with Watchmen. And then he just stuck with that with everything else that he did.
It's like this dude knows one color, bluish gray.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's probably not going to happen. But speaking of some of the movies coming out for both Marvel and DC, we know that the UK has started a new round of lockdowns due to COVID-19. But it turns out movies like Doctor Strange and the Batman movie, who is shooting in London right now, will continue shooting. So there won't be any delays there. We'll watch this closely because we know it's a new strain or something out there that's in the UK, which is probably why they're locking down. So it's spreading faster. So we'll see if the movies get delayed or not. You know, hopefully not, but obviously we want people to be safe.
Is anything shooting in LA? Because I know LA is locked down now too, and like a lot of TV shows that shoot in LA has been delayed. I don't know if there's any movies that's shooting in LA.
I don't know if anything's shooting in LA. I know the Marvel Studios TV shows are shooting in Atlanta.
Okay.
So they should be okay. And then the movies that they're shooting right now is in Australia and the UK.
Okay.
Also, like, I don't know if I could be an actor and have to get tested every day because,
yeah.
Like, my wife for her job just got a test, and she's like, it's like they rape your brain.
A giant stick up your nose or something, right?
Yeah, like, man, like, she's like it just goes all the way back in your nose. I couldn't do that every day. I couldn't do that.
Every day? And eventually it just becomes scar tissue. You don't even feel it, right?
Yeah. How am I going to act after that? I wouldn't be able to act. I'm like, I can't act now. It's over.
You think there would be a better way? Like, how come they can't do like a saliva test or a blood test or something?
I don't know. Apparently, it's got to be that way. I don't know. That's the best way to tell.
I think somebody's just having fun.
Exactly. They's like, what's the worst way to test people for this?
Cruel person. Cruel.
They found that worst way. They were like, nah, we can't do that every day. So let's just go.
We're saying
I mean, I have a way that was worse, and that's probably inappropriate. So what's the second worst way?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, we can't do that every day.
There are plenty of bad ways they can test for this. Plenty. But no, so apparently it's not even the back of your nose, it's the back of your sinuses. That's how, like, they're going to swab the back of your sinus.
So they're tickling your brain for real.
Yeah. Just a little bit of your brain tissue. Getting that on there.
I just forgot something.
So I'm like, I can't. Man, I hope I never have to take this test. I'm gonna cry. I'm really gonna cry. Yeah.
Like, that's okay. I don't need to know if I have it or not. That's cool. I'll just stay home.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd rather smoke than alcohol.
Since we've been talking about DC, thought I'd let you know some more. A little bit, yeah. I thought I'd let you know some more things about HBO Max. They're planning on doing spin-off series. The latest that it looks like they want to do is a Mara spin-off series. That is Aquaman's love interest.
Okay, all right.
I don't know who's interested in that. I'm not so sure, but like I don't.
Don't they have to first establish interest in these things? Like maybe not do a spinoff until maybe we have like 2 or 3 movies with her in it, so I can decide if I like her or not.
Also, is she a character where you're like, oh yeah, I want to know more about what she's doing? No. Like, okay, Mandalorian is doing a spin-off series of Boba Fett, which, all right, yeah. And the Ranger lady, like that, the girl, I forget her name, but he like teams up with her. She's like really strong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, she's an interesting character.
Oh, the girl that be in the ship with him? Or are you talking about what's it called? Character?
She used to be a rebel, and well, Ahsoka Tano was getting a series too, which yeah, okay. So Rosario Dawson's getting a series there, but no, the she was in the first season. She was a bounty hunter too.
Oh yeah, her the one that he had captured and like kept in the cave or something like for a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
I don't know. But yeah, the point of what I'm saying.
I don't know if she's Asian or not, but I know who you're talking about.
The point of what I was saying was the characters they chose to spin off of was characters that people have interest in. Like, hey, I might want to see more of that. Mira, I don't
like those characters spent time in a TV show, so you had time to develop a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Mira shows up in one movie.
Yeah.
Maybe we should see her in Aquaman 2 and 3 first.
Yeah.
I feel like Aquaman is not a person I want to follow, let alone any of his side characters.
Definitely not on a TV show.
I don't want to see Aquaman 2 or 3.
Right.
I love the supporting actors.
I don't know. You know what? I might watch a Black Manta TV series. It's the most
Black Manta I liked. I thought he was great. Wait, didn't he die?
No. They showed him alive at the end of the movie.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's someone I could follow.
Yeah. So besides that, there are a few other spin-off series that they're having. The Peacemaker, who is a character in the Suicide Squad movie. So he's getting a TV series. I think his show's also going to be directed by James Gunn. So we'll see how that works out. Apparently it's going to be a Green Lantern TV series, which I'm like, okay.
I'm sorry.
Wait, you don't like Green Lantern?
I mean, you say that, and I think of the movie. Like, I don't.
Well,
is it a cartoon? I might be more interested if it was a cartoon.
I doubt it's a cartoon. That's highly doubtful.
It might be more interesting if it was.
Green Lantern. Honestly, I feel like that should have been something that Warner Brothers did and did well, but they didn't. So.
Yeah, how do you screw up the Green Lantern?
I don't know how you do that, man. Because I feel like there was a lot of ways y'all could have given with that. Y'all could have got creative with it. It's the Green Lantern.
There's so much stuff.
Like, how do you make that boring? Yeah. How do you make that boring?
Yeah. I don't know.
Somebody didn't know enough about the Green Lantern to make a good, decent movie.
But that's true for all of their movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
They're also talking about doing a Justice League Dark.
What is that?
Can't even get the light right. Already? Like, come on, man. Get the light first.
Right.
Go for the dark.
I don't even know what Justice League Dark is, but it sounds like something I don't want to see.
I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I imagine it's like, this instead of Superman being, I love humans and everything, he's like, yeah, I like them, but I'm about to kill a few of them. I feel like it's going to be something like that.
They're just angrier, you think? Something like that?
Angrier. Maybe like some of them depressed. Who knows? Batman's like, I've been Batman forever, living in a cave. I got all this money and I live in a cave. So he's like, I'm about to take it out on a few people.
Batman's always depressed. Well, I feel like you can't do Justice League Dark if we haven't gotten a good Justice League yet. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You ain't got the light right first, so it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, how you just gonna jump to a whole nother series?
yeah, like you just gonna
That's
give up on
insane.
this one? Like, all right, well, let's try Dark.
Maybe
Then
they
they'll screw
should
that
give
up.
up on this one. And we just pretend like none of this happened.
We can pretend, but we know it happened. That's not gonna go away. It's not gonna go away. So I mean, like I said, they could try though, but
Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were supposed to be doing a movie first, and now I guess they're moved into TV. None of these shows, I feel like what they're trying to do is capitalize on what Marvel did, since they're doing like a bunch of Disney Plus TV shows. And so they're like, oh, hey, we can do that too. But I feel like, again, they're jumping the gun.
Yeah, they're skipping some steps.
Because Marvel like established itself, whereas people are like, yeah, I want to see more of these characters. Like Loki was one of the original characters. Now he has a show. Of course, people want to watch that. Wanda, yeah,
it's Loki. Like, you know how entertaining Loki was from day one. Like as soon as we saw Loki and Thor, we was like, man, yo, I kind of want to see this dude. Then they made him the lead villain in the Avengers.
Yeah.
So like we got all that behind him, and then he was still in the movie. So like, yeah, we didn't develop the like heavy relationship with Loki from hating him to loving him. So like, yeah, he can take his own show. But like when DC keep trying to keep up with Marvel, it's like y'all ain't done enough like background yet. Y'all can't just jump into it. Y'all got to develop these characters and make us like them first before y'all try to give them a side story or a side TV show, or else that ain't gonna do well either. Why would we be interested?
Yeah, and that's an important part. You said there, develop the characters. And that's one thing I don't feel like they really do in DC. Like they just put movies out and they're not really focusing on, like, you have to get character growth throughout the movies. And we don't really get that, especially since you rushed into a Justice League after 2 movies. Like, only character that was around that whole time was Superman. You know?
Yeah.
And
Batman.
Well, yeah, but
Ben Affleck Batman.
Right, but even then, like, okay, we had Superman, but they really didn't even establish Superman, and not enough for me to like him.
Yeah, well, because his next movie, he had a solo movie, then his next movie was Batman v Superman. And it's like, well, okay, you didn't have enough time to build this character. Like, that's why I said, like, I like Man of Steel. It's a darker Superman, but I felt like it was fine because it was Superman just getting started. And then, like, I expected his movies to become lighter because now he's Superman. Now he's doing his Boy Scout Save the Day thing because he's already dealt with that adversity. Like, I felt like we could have seen that growth into Superman becoming the Superman we knew on the animated series, you know? And we didn't get that because you just threw in, hey, Batman v Superman. Which
they jump so much. I mean, you figure that, and then Superman dies, and we're like, what?
Right.
Which is stupid because we knew he was going to be in the next movie, so it didn't meant nothing.
Yeah.
So now they got to spend time on bringing Superman back. Now they got to waste time in the Justice League movie to bring Superman back.
Yeah.
In some kind of crazy way.
I mean, people
GameCube that they got to touch some like spring water at the same time as the GameCube, and then all right, Superman's back.
That's basically what happened.
Yeah. Like, come on, man.
But people can make that same argument for Infinity War. The deaths in there didn't really count because we knew all those people had movies coming up.
No, that's different. And it's different because the actual deaths, not the people that got snapped away, you knew for sure the snap was going to get undone. But Loki died and Loki stayed dead. Gamora died and Gamora stayed dead. So there are people that died in that movie that stay dead. Technically, they came back in some other kind of comic booky way. But the people that died are dead.
Yeah. Well, like, Gamora is not the same. She didn't have the same experiences. Same with Loki. They didn't experience the same thing. So technically, that's a different person. Like, me from 5 years ago is not the same person that I am right now. Like, that's not the same. So, like, technically, that Gamora did die.
I mean, that I get.
Yeah. So, I feel you on that. But when we were talking, we got into this conversation because we were talking about building the characters. Patty Jenkins had something to say. She was somewhere asked her in an interview, and of course, Justice League is a big topic right now because Zack Snyder's movie or show, whatever they're doing, is coming out in a few months. Patty Jenkins said she had no input on Wonder Woman's character in the Justice League movie. None. And I feel like that therein lies part of your issue with DC. One, they're jumping the gun too much. And then how do you have Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman and Wonder Woman in Justice League, but you don't have the director of Wonder Woman chime in on that character?
Yeah, there's like no communication. Well, you can tell because you figure the things that happen in Patty Jenkins movies does not impact or any way line up with what happened in the Justice League movie. Oh. And it's kind of disappointing because if she's your director for this character, why can't you call her up and say, hey, you know, what would she do? How would this work? And I hate doing this, but like in the Marvel movie, when they did Infinity War, they called up the director of Black Panther to find out what did they do in their movies? What was Wakanda like? So that when you see Black Panther in Infinity War, you're like, wow, you know? So it's since they shot it before Black Panther was shot. So they needed that communication between the two.
Yeah, because you wanted to make sure that people saw it as the same character. Like, okay, yeah, that's the character that I'm seeing now. It's familiar to the audience. Talking about the same movie, going one step further, the opening scene with Thor meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm pretty sure that was directed by James Gunn. Like, they gave him that scene to direct because those were the characters he handled. And that's why the characters seem so much the same. And like, I mean, they don't have to direct, like Patty Jenkins didn't have to direct Wonder Woman scenes or whatever, but you could have at least got her input, like, okay, this is how this character would be. Then like it would feel like it would feel like the same character rather than just somebody wearing the same clothes.
I mean, you have to consult with them because it can't feel like the same universe if the people outside aren't even communicating with each other.
Right.
And it definitely benefits to say, you know, like, what do you envision for her? Or even just to find out, like, what's happening in your, you know, in her movies that we can put into these new movies. Might be helpful.
True.
Well, it's like, y'all know how many different coaches it is on a football team?
A whole bunch.
A bunch of coaches. It's like basically a different coach for every position. Like, imagine if y'all went through the whole season with all them coaches and then Super Bowl come and you're like, all right, we're just going to use a head coach.
Right.
Is everything going to come together? It's like the head coach don't really know exactly what's going on with individual teams. He don't know strengths and weaknesses. He might know a little bit of everything, but you can't say that he's the expert on all of that. He's just the head coach, so everything kind of got to go through him. But you got your line coach, you got your linebacker coach, you got your running back coach, your quarterback coach. You got all that different stuff. You need all that to play a part in order for y'all to get to the Super Bowl and win the championship. That's kind of like it is how it is with this with the Marvel movies. You got all these different directors, all these different teams that work on these movies. You got to bring at least most of them together if you're gonna combine all those movies so y'all can get a piece from everything. You know what I'm saying? You might not have a budget to pay every last person that was on each movie, but you need something significant from each movie to try to bring all that together to keep it organic. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of things seeming forced. That's what DC seemed like. They just letting one person try to tie all this stuff in, giving them as little resources as possible, and now they got to try to make something out of nothing, basically. And you can see that play out in the movie. It's like, man, this is like, they took all these scraps and tried to put it together and try to come up with something, and it's garbage at the end of the day.
Does DC have a Kevin Feige? Like, that's what DC need. They need that central executive producer. And I feel like they don't have that. At least if they do, I haven't heard of them. Like, because if you have that, then that's one guy who knows everything that's going on. Yeah. And then that's the person you go to.
Yeah, I don't think
that. And I also feel like DC doesn't have a person that reads their own comic book, which might be helpful.
Well, that's one thing about the Wonder Woman movie.
That would be nice.
Like, what was that movie based off of? Nothing.
Yeah. I haven't read, because usually I mention what comic book it was based off of.
No, it wasn't based off anything.
So it was just random. I mean, which is not saying that it can't be random, but it might help DC if it wasn't.
Maybe it'll help you build a story
Yeah,
if you
sometimes
had
they
a
can't connect
foundation.
the randoms. Like if y'all can't connect the randoms, maybe y'all can connect something that's actually written down in comics.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
y'all
might
can do
help
that.
you
You got
some.
a blueprint or something.
So
It's
yeah,
like they just not. That's not what they thinking, man.
I don't know. Well, but that's all the news that I had.
Okay, good
So
news.
yeah, man, that was a long news section. I didn't expect us to go on.
It was about. It was, man. Feel like
Uh,
people got personal, man. Started taking shots.
yeah. So
It's all true though.
yeah, yeah. But let's talk about Animaniacs. Maybe we have a happier time talking about that. So, what do '90s kids think about Animaniacs, the Hulu version? So,
The reboot?
we watched a few episodes. I watched a couple of the old Animaniacs just to give myself a refresher, and then I watched a new one. I think Dora did the same thing. And I'm just gonna start. Dora, what do you think? How do they compare?
I will say, all right, I'm gonna start with the new one. It's okay. I'm not gonna say it was bad. It's better than okay. But I felt like something was missing, and I couldn't put my finger on like what it was that was missing about it. And I don't know. I mean, even then, like the old one wasn't as funny as I remembered it being, but I still found it enjoyable to watch. But I feel like the reboot was missing something.
Okay. Interesting take. I enjoyed the new one. I actually and it might be the episodes of the old one that I chose to watch. I actually enjoyed watching the new one more than the old one, in my opinion. Um it was still funny. I think the thing about Animaniacs, it has to be, which I think part of what the old one was missing for me is Animaniacs has to like be current, like because they're always talking about current events. So the one in the '90s is talking about '90s events, which as an adult doesn't matter that much to me anymore. And so the new one is actually referring to current things, which I think probably had a more of an impact. I did find that it is different. I agree. Even watching the old one, I didn't find the old one as funny as I did when I was a kid, but I did find parts funny. But I'm noticing now it's the adult jokes that they throw in there that I'm finding funny, other than, what I used to when I was a child, which I guess that's just an effect of growing up, huh?
I would agree. I found the adult jokes more funny. But see, unlike you, like the old episodes I watched were episodes that relied less on current events. So maybe that's why I found some of those episodes a little bit more funnier. Like the episode about the Sistine Chapel I watched, there was an episode when they were like harassing Dr. Scratch and Sniff.
Mm-hmm.
So those episodes are just always generally funny.
That's true.
Without relating to whatever's happening in the 90s at that time. So those, I picked random episodes, so those just happened to be the episodes that I saw. But I will agree, I laughed more. Like there was one joke that was especially inappropriate that I found was hilarious and thought like, how did you guys get away with this?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, Yako told Dot she had to dust for fingerprints, and so then she comes back with prints. The artist from was Prince.
Oh, I remember that from when we were a kid.
And Yako was like, "No, I said fingerprints." And she looks at Prince, was like, "That's okay," and throws him away. And as a kid, like I didn't get it. But as an adult, I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, that's a dirty joke. I just when talk about the new one, I did enjoy the opening. I think that opening was perfect. That was just like chef's kiss.
Was that the reboot song?
Huh?
Was that when they sang the reboot song? I really liked the reboot song.
The reboot song was funny, but no, the Jurassic Park spoof.
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah,
I was like, that was perfect. They did a Jurassic Park spoof, but it was them bringing back Animaniacs, so it was like the characters from Jurassic Park and Steven Spielberg. And they're like, "Oh my god, is that the Animaniacs?" And then he's like, "Yeah, we're bringing back Pinky and Brain." It's like, "Did you say Pinky and the Brain?" "Yeah, we're bringing back Pinky and the Brain," which I didn't know they were. So I kind of had the same reaction she did. I was like, "What new Pinky and the Brain?" So
That's
yeah,
dope.
yeah, that was pretty. That skit was good. The other skits were just okay. The one where they were like the Zeus gods is what sticks out the most for me. The Greek gods, I guess you would say.
Oh, when they were fighting the thing, and then they ran into Donald Trump on the island.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll watch that one.
It was funny. Like I just laughed at the part where it was some singing band coming up out of the ocean. I don't know what band it was referring to though. It was
I didn't know that either. But I'm not really a pop culture kind of person, so
yeah. I thought it was funny though. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think they're hitting the right beats. It might just be a slow start. Maybe I'll watch a few more episodes of the new one and see, you know.
I might agree with you because I think I watched the first episode and I know I watched the last episode and I found the last episode quite enjoyable. So, the first episode of any series is always kind of slow. So I did enjoy the last episode. So I thought like I might there's only 13 episodes. I might just watch them all.
Yeah.
After just, picking and choosing. Because it was fine.
Check it out. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it was pretty good. Did you have any notes that you wanted to talk about Animaniacs?
Yes, things I remembered about the second one before I go through some of my notes. I forgot how much I hated that little girl and a dog. What's her name? Buttons and
Buttons and some Mindy? No, yeah, Mindy.
Yeah, is it Mindy? Because she's like always getting lost, and the dog spent all his time trying to save her.
Yeah, the dog gotta like fix it, but then they blame the dog for everything.
Yeah, yes. He always gets in trouble. That always make me mad. That made me mad when I was a kid. I'm like, he ain't do it. Stupid Mindy. Man.
Yeah. Like I hated it as a kid. And now like honestly watching these episodes, I just fast forwarded through it. I'm like, I hate this girl. And I just skipped it all.
I did watch Slappy. The episode I watched had Slappy in it, and it was funny.
With the squirrel?
Yeah, Slappy the squirrel.
Yeah. The squirrel. The squirrel is underrated.
Yeah.
I saw Chicken
the
Boo
whole thing wasn't funny, but most of her skit was funny, I'd say.
Yeah, I caught a Chicken Boo. He was in a karate tournament.
I didn't catch Chicken Boo.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
No, he was in a karate tournament, and like the dojo's like, pep talking him, and the guy's like, he's a chicken. And so the dojo like slaps him out like you're just jealous.
It's not a man, it's a chicken, Boo.
So I was hoping I caught. Only thing I catch a Will of Morality. That was disappointing.
I did on the episode I watched.
You?
Yeah, Will of Morality. Turn. Tell us the lessons we should learn. Never learn what hot dogs are made of.
I did catch a Dot's Poetry Corner where she was like, Mary had a little lamb. It's like with mint jelly.
Oh, yeah. So I
that always sounded disgusting to me. Like, people really eat lamb with like mint jelly? Like,
I guess they must. I've never have, but they must.
Maybe it's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you gotta try it before you knock it, but it don't sound good.
I mean, jelly and mint, just ew. No.
Sounds disgusting.
What? Why am I putting jelly on my lamb? Why?
I don't know.
One time I put jelly on my sandwiches from McDonald's. I get a little bit of grape jelly when I get that sausage, egg, and cheese. I put a little bit of grape jelly on there just for that little sweet.
Jelly and cheese don't seem like it goes together to me. Like if we got cheese, I can't put jelly.
You don't notice it though. It's like a little sweetness added in there. It only work with the grape though. The strawberry jelly, it don't taste that great. But the grape
strawberry jelly by itself is just gross anyways. I don't like strawberry jelly.
True. Grape jelly is where it's at.
It tastes weird.
All right. I was like, so my son's a super picky eater. So I know it's going to sound weird, but me and my wife were talking like, okay, we're going to try and get him to eat peanut butter and jelly. You might be like, how come he hasn't had it before? But it took us a while just to get him to take a bite of something that is a sandwich because he likes to take his food apart and eat everything individually. So you can't do that with peanut butter and jelly.
You can't.
But so now it might be easier. So I was going to do that, and she's like, "Oh, well, don't get grape jelly." And I'm like, "What do you mean? That's what you
You don't
start
get
with.
grape jelly with.
You
What
start
else are
with
you
grape
making your
jelly."
peanut butter and jelly out of?
Don't tell me she went apple. Don't say apple.
He said something
What-
about
wait.
preserves. I was like, nah,
No,
man.
get out of here. No, tell your wife no. We're not doing that nonsense.
Man, we great.
Yeah, no, we gotta get grape jelly. Grape jelly, definitely.
Yes.
We rise and fall with the grapes, man.
Oh.
Yeah, he probably like that more anyway. But we'll see. He's eating peanut butter toast, so there was the start. Now we
Okay.
can smush it together and put grape
Well, wait.
on one side.
Give him jelly toast then.
Ah, and then okay,
And
jelly toast.
Damn. Yeah.
I got
Good
you.
butter on there.
I used to eat that as a kid.
I
I
do
haven't
too.
had
I
that
do.
in over a decade.
I cannot eat peanut butter or jelly.
I don't eat
anymore.
peanut butter that much. I mean, like I can eat peanut butter, but it's not a thing.
I mean, I'll eat peanut butter crackers, pre-made. Like I'm not gonna do it myself, but like I will buy.
Who would do it?
No, yeah.
Buy some crackers and buy some peanut butter. Make my own peanut butter. Like why? They already did it. The work is done.
It's probably healthier.
It probably is healthier.
You're not gonna get the same peanut butter, so you might as well just get the pre-made.
Yeah, no, the pre-made. Like I'll eat that, but I don't think I've had peanut. I don't think I've ever bought peanut butter as an adult.
Really?
I'm sure I haven't. Yeah.
I
love it.
I haven't really eaten it. We have peanut butter. My wife likes to buy it. I did buy peanut butter once, but I was making peanut butter cups when I was on the keto diet. So I had to make my own. I couldn't buy any, so yeah. This is the only time I bought peanut butter purposely.
So you bought it on mistake before?
Right.
Peanut butter.
Get in the cart.
But back to Animaniacs.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I did want to bring up because what I did like before I get to my notes was that it's like those little things about Animaniacs that becomes really funny, you know? So sometimes like the episode itself isn't funny, but it's like those little snippets that are hilarious, which I like. So I don't have a lot of notes, but Steven Spielberg they originally came to him to do like miniature Looney Tunes. This is how we end up with Tiny Toons Adventures, which I loved that cartoon as a kid. Not sure if it's still good or not.
I remember watching it when it hit Hulu. It's still good. I was just surprised because the episode was like the dude had a problem with swearing, and I was like, wait, I was like, wait, what? I didn't notice this as a kid, but
I never saw that when I was a kid.
Yeah, as an adult,
I never saw
I'm like,
episode when I was.
Is this a kid's show?
So from there, that's kind of how they ended up like morphing from Tiny Toons to Animaniacs. And so it was Spielberg's idea to always have a song in every episode, which is a great idea because their songs are great.
They are. They're very catchy.
Yeah. And they're educational. You know, like there were songs about all the countries.
Is
every
there a new
state,
country
and
song?
I heard there was. Yes, there is a new country song.
Perfect, because I mean the world's different, so we need a new. Country
There
song.
is a new country song. Yes.
All right.
So then there's a song for every state in their capital, which is also good. And then the new one did a song for all the first ladies.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Interesting. I know, right? So yeah, it was his idea to always have a song. So shout out for that. One of the reasons why it got canceled, even though it was on for 5 years, which is good for a cartoon, is because it was more popular among teens and adults. So cartoons are expensive, and it's like we're not selling toys because grown people are watching it. But it's like you can't sell cartoons is to sell merchandise.
Yeah.
And so it weren't getting a lot of merchandise sales off of. It's true. We didn't have any Animaniacs toys. I don't even know there were any.
No, I mean, I don't know what
I'm
Animaniacs.
sure there probably was
toys
stuff
you
on
get.
them.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's probably why there's just like, we're not making money off of this. But yeah, because it was more popular among the older audience.
Makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense. If you like watching it now, like, oh yeah, this makes absolute sense. I mean, they got a lot of slapstick stuff in there, but I'm not really sure if it was a kid's cartoon or not.
I don't think it
So
is. I don't think it is a kids' cartoon. I think that we
I
watched
don't
it
think
as
it is.
kids.
I mean, it had like a lot of like political satire in it, a lot of adult jokes in there. Just like, was this meant for kids? Besides, like random people getting hit with anvils and stuff, which is still funny, by the way.
Sometimes it is funny, especially if I don't expect it. Definitely funny.
The one I saw, I can't remember what happened in the episode, but I wasn't expecting it, and a guy got hit by an anvil. Was not expecting it. It was hilarious.
It's funny when they interrupt something, like when it cuts you off mid sentence, and it's funny.
My son was uninterested.
Your son sucks. I thought we already established this. He doesn't like anything that he should like.
But okay, in his defense, it is TV7 and he is 4, so maybe it just wasn't interesting to him.
Okay, all right. We'll try again next year.
Yeah, I don't know, but plus, like I said, the earlier episodes that I watched to me weren't as entertaining. So
yeah, that's why I chose different seasons, because I already knew the first season wasn't going to be good.
Well, I figured I'd be fair. I did first season, so
one season of the other one, which their season, by the way. So
they did renew it.
Yep.
All right.
So there is a second season. Okay, so my last thing I have is the Wheel of Morality, which I always liked.
Oh yeah, I like that. Wheel of Morality. Turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. I did that.
Yeah.
So they came up with that to fill in gaps for when the episode was too short. That's why we got Wheel of Morality.
Oh.
It's just for short episodes. Which I don't know about you, but watching this, did you think the episodes was really short? I felt like I'd be like just getting into it and then it was over.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that was quick.
Because of the lack of commercials?
Probably. No commercials, and we're used to watching hour-long TV shows, so...
Is that what it is? I was just like, oh, is that it? Okay. I just wasn't ready for it to end, and then it ended.
Yeah, 20 minutes is going to be quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah. That's true.
Huh. But yeah, I thought it was great that they got all the old voice actors back.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Cool. Yeah.
I was hoping about that too, because it's like you change the voices of the Animaniacs, you're gonna notice that. Because you used to like Yakko has to sound like Yakko. Wacko has to sound like a drunk, and Dot has to sound like she's innocent, but we know she's not.
Right.
If you lose that, I feel like that's a big part of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it was great that they managed to get all of those guys back. That and I mean, I wouldn't call them old, but they're old, right?
It's been 22 years. 22 years.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
I
you can
saw
even make the voice.
I know. One of the guys looked really old, but the voice of Yakko, is it the voice of Yakko also does the voice of Brain?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or one of them. I might have had it backwards. It might be the voice of Wacko also does the voice of Brain. But anyways, they were saying how a lot of them do more than one voice. And it's like, if there's like 30 people in the episode or something like that, there's like, yeah, we just choose a character and do the voice.
Makes sense.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Shoot, if you look at The Simpsons, there's a lot of characters that are the exact same person that do the voice.
Oh, yeah.
I know Lisa is just one person that does her voice and she don't do nothing else. But like, I think maybe Homer. But the rest of the characters, there's a lot of different characters that are voiced by the same person.
I think I was reading up on this thing about voice acting. And I think when you sign contracts, a lot of times in your contract is to do like a certain number of voices. Not nothing crazy like 10, but like okay. Because obviously you're gonna have a bunch of.
It makes sense though.
What is it? Hank Azaria? He does a lot of the Simpson voices. I'm probably mispronouncing his last name, but yeah, he does a lot of the voices.
He does a ridiculous amount of voices. Oh my gosh, like everybody.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. But hey,
so
if you got 30 different characters, you don't want to have to hire 30 different people to do the voices. So
no,
true, yeah.
No, that makes sense. Especially with animation, you're obviously going to have a character that's just going to pop up for one episode. It's no reason to pay somebody else to do that voice. Yeah.
Right. Everybody can change their voice a little bit, or enough to be a different character. So,
Well, not everybody.
well, okay, well, yeah, not everybody. Some people have the same
I
voice for
definitely can't.
everybody that they imitate.
All
Yeah,
of
which
my
is annoying, right? Well, I'm not gonna say it's annoying, but you think of like H. John Benjamin. Is that his name? The guy who
who
does Bob.
From
What's
Bob's
that?
Burgers.
Yeah, his last name not Benjamin. What is it? H. John something.
I don't know.
But anyways, he
Yeah,
sounds exactly the same because he's like the voice of Archer, the voice of
yeah.
Bob, and then like when he shows up on another show, you're like, oh yeah, that guy. It's just
Yeah,
exactly the same.
like
Yeah.
the
He was in some Arby's commercials too.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
was like, that's Bob Bill.
I mean,
It
yeah.
fit though.
I mean, you could be a voice actor without being able to do more than one voice. You just have to
Oh
be
no,
able
I mean,
to.
I like his voice acting. It's just you always know when it's him.
Yeah. Well, you it's
Mhm.
funny. You could tell voice actor. You could like voice acting is a small community, man. Because like you can tell people's voices, especially like in the cartoons. You be
Mhm.
like the guy whoever does Wolverine's voice, not in the '90s cartoon, but like in the future cartoons, whoever does Wolverine's voice, he shows up
Mhm.
everywhere. I'd be like, that's the voice of Wolverine. What show was it? Oh, I'm watching Transformers Rescue Bots with my son.
Oh,
And
I was like, why are you watching Transformers Rescue Bots?
why do you think I'm watching Rescue Bots?
I don't know. Gotta ask these questions.
And he's one of the voices of the Transformers, and I'm like, that's Wolverine from Wolverine and the X-Men. Like,
The industry
Transformers.
loves his voice, apparently.
yeah. Or whoever, the lady who does the voice
Hey.
of Susie from Rugrats. Her voice be
Rugrats?
sharp
Susie?
everywhere too. Yeah.
Who's Susie and the Rugrats?
The little black girl.
Remember the black girl?
Oh,
That
wow.
Angelica didn't like.
Yeah.
There's only one black character and I forgot her. My bad.
It's sad. Wow.
That's pretty bad, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess our opinion of Animaniacs. My opinion is it is good enough, close enough to the original one that I'm like, I think they did a good job bringing it back.
I think as far as reboots go, like a lot of reboots don't be that great. I feel like it's pretty good. It hits some of the similar notes that the older one did. I still think there's something missing. I can't figure out what it is, but
The animation's different.
well, yeah, it kind of
It's
had to be.
better.
I would hope. But even then, like I didn't mention this in my facts. Like for that time, that Animaniacs was actually pretty on par. Like how like when their talk while they're moving, which at that time that didn't happen a lot. Like a cartoon character would like if they're talking wouldn't be moving at the same time.
I thought that when I watched the first one. When I watched the original one, I was thinking that. I was like, man, this animation is actually pretty good. I think even by today's standards, I mean, obviously, there aspects ratio, lighting, coloring, and all that. It's a bit different, but I still think it was pretty fluid animation compared to the X-Men animated series.
Let's not.
Like, I was like, it was pretty good animation. I think
It was very fluid. So yeah, they were like one of the first people to like where they can like talk and run and do a whole bunch of stuff. They didn't have to like, oh wait, I'm talking to the screen now. Let me stop doing what I'm doing. So yeah, but yeah, the animation is definitely better now. I would hope so after 25 years or whatever. Like, I would hope it'd be better.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The only animation I don't expect to improve ever is South Park. I mean,
well, no,
because it's purposely bad.
kind of what they got going on.
What is the history of that?
never
Did they
improved.
literally start that in Paint and it just became popular?
I don't know. I gotta look it up.
I
I
don't
think
watch
it's
South
like,
Park, so
what is the cheapest way to get this cartoon on the screen? And that's what they did.
look, there's one thing. All you have to be is like you just when you're making a movie, cartoon, or whatever. Like, okay, movie sidestep CGI has to be good. I'm sorry, but if you have a good story or good comedy or whatever, that overshadows everything else. 100%. That's why like South Park is like it's funny to people, so they don't care why it looks that way. Even in video games. Like I know a lot of people, they were when Minecraft came out, they're like, it's blocky. Why would I play this? It looks dumb or whatever. But like that's an extremely popular video game, and it's like, yeah, the graphics didn't matter because it was good. So yeah, Animaniacs and South Park and all that, like just come out with a good show and people will watch it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I will.
Yeah.
All right. That was all I had. Anything else there, Dora?
No, that was it.
Okay. Cool. Well, that is our show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed watching / listening to us here. And if you want to catch out some other episodes, make sure you check out our other podcasts and videos. Next week, we're going to be going over WandaVision, the first Marvel TV series to hit Disney Plus. So I'm excited about that. I know you guys are. Me and my wife are planning on doing a reaction to that as well. So if what's happening? What is happening right now?
I don't know. I just started doing something. I ran with it, but go ahead.
Okay.
I got ADD.
So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you do. You can check out our YouTube channel. We are on YouTube. We're 3D Rivals on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description because we don't have we're not good enough on YouTube to have like an actual URL. So it's one, but it's a bunch of letters and numbers. So you can look up 3D
You can help us get there, America.
But yeah, you can check that link out. Of course, you can check us anywhere you get your podcasts. If you want to listen to us in podcast form, we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/3D Rivals. Other than that, again, thanks for listening, guys. Peace out.